chair, please. Yes, please. Pierre, to sit down. Music. Ladies and gentlemen, the Spanish... Fortunately... the Spanish gypsy dance in a... Gypsy dance, hit it. Let's play down here. Spanish gypsy. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I can manage. Thank you. I can manage. Thank you. Thank you. Well, that's the story of my life. So in conclusion, no, I was born... Thank you. I was born a very... Just take it off, would you?
It's switched off!
You're taking it off!
Why? It's switched off!
It's not!
Yes, it is!
Oh, what a great team. I was born, ladies and gentlemen, of mixed parents. One man, one woman. And here's a little picture I'd like to show you. This is like the story of my life. Isn't that nice? Didn't have lawn, but we've got carpet. You see? And there's a little paddock for the animals. Happy wedding day, and what a lovely, happy couple. Haven't the foggiest idea who they are. So I found that picture in an antique shop, and I have it up in my office, but it's a lovely picture, isn't it? It better be, I brought it up. As you know something, we're very poor. I had no clothes. They couldn't afford to buy me clothes, so I had to lie on the floor. And I can remember my mother coming to the door with my father and looking at me, and she said, he's got to go out, you know. I mean, we've got to get him something. He's got to go out. I mean, he's 28. So my father went out and he bought me a cap so I could look out the window. Well, my career started before the war, 1935. And actually, I visited a holiday camp in Germany. I was on a holiday at a place called Baden-Baden, and I met a couple of nice chaps. One was a fat fella, and it was called Herman, if I remember right. And he used to be a pilot in the First World War, and we were always chasing each other like, you know, great fun. And the other fella, there were two of them. I thought it was Charlie Chaplin for a minute, but he'd never heard of Charlie's Oohs, Vasses, so I was okay. Anyway, we got an act going, and we did a little Tyrolese dance for the amateur talent competition at the camp. And here's a picture of us in doing the act. That's me on the end. That's Herman in the middle. And that fella, I can never, you know, he was a bit morose. He was writing a romantic novel at that time called Mein Kampf. And that was it with the fella in the middle. Oh, it was great. Anyway, we didn't win. No, we didn't win the first prize, and the following morning the holiday camp was burnt to the ground. And then we corresponded for a time, like, you know, mein eine kleine Utzenhalb, and then, of course, the war broke out, and I joined the Air Force. And, well, I was in the Air Force for 2 years, and then the Air Force decided I'd make a better sailor. So, of course, and I've met these lads, and I had a bit of pull in the right places, so I joined the Navy. And here's a picture of me in the Navy. And there we are, you see, just leaving Kiel. And that is a picture of my first and chief engineer. He was a marvellous fella, but he would dress up. And that's how, well, it was a quiet war. I had a very quiet war. Well, there's not a lot of action patrolling the Manchester Ship Canal. And then after the war, we went into a concert party. Well, no, one or two of us, we had instructions, and we had to go to South America for a while for tax reasons. And here's a picture of me on my ranch in South America with, as you can see, we hadn't built the house, but we got the bar up. And that's me, that's him, and I'm still looking for him. Oh, he's a great fella. He had a pal of his and put wire around it. And anyway... And then I went with my first engineer and we opened a cafe called the El Ethno Fury. It was called. It was a pun on cafe. And here's a picture. Here's another picture of me with my first engineer. Look, as you can see, doing that. See, she was the only one in the cafe who used to applaud every night. And then, of course, there's a lot of truth bound up in this, and when the war finished, Bill Fraser, you know, the Bill Fraser and Snudge, marvellous band, formed a concert party which was written by Ron Rich, who is now a vicar, and Dennis Norden. And I don't know what happened to Dennis, but he wrote some marvellous stuff, and we did some shows. We did 3 shows. One was called Bags of Panic, 2, It's in the Bag, and the third review was 3 Bags Full, which is rather nice writing, and it's true. Anyway, here's a picture of us. Look at it now. You see, there you are. And now you're not going to believe this, but we're all fellas. There's me in the boots in the end, and of course, it's a good act. I came out, Danny LaRue knocked off all the stuff, so that was another career done. And in any case, Danny LaRue had the material as well. Now, not a lot of people know this, but I'm quite a bit of an engineer, and I used to ride motorcycles and things like that, and I was one of the first riders after the war to go into the first TT race, the Isle of Man after the war. There's the picture, look at that. And I would have come first, but I fell off in the pits. There was a mistake getting on, and see, the same boots again. There you are, you see. Unfortunately, I'd lost my goggles, but they told me afterwards that they were there all the time. Anyway... Now, I just want to look at this. Now, not a lot of people know that I was a ballet dancer at one time. And also used to play Richard III parts. Richard III on ice. I was in ballet school, and I've actually got, it's on record of me in a ballet school. We were practicing. That's me, and as you can see by that, I was a tall fellow and they had low doors. And it would have been great. I was about to break forward into I think they're doing Swan Lake, or it could have been Cop this one. No, Copelia. And then... Well, I didn't speak Russian. Then over came Nureyev. He defected, came over. He knocked off all that stuff, so that was me again. I had to resort to playing cricket for England. And in 1947, we sent a team to play the West Indies in Bradford, I think. But here's a picture. Here's a picture of me. Look there. There you are, you see. And the fellow at the back is the one who signed for me. And he had to have me back by 11 and nothing sharp. You see that lovely off-drop and the same boots. Now, people say, do I have a family? Oh, of course I have a family. And I've always kept them in the background for tax reasons. And I'm going to show you a picture of my family now. There they are. That's some of the family. The rest of them are over here. And we used to live in that compartment. He was a smoker. And then we moved to Clapham. Well, the train did, and we went with it. No, I was a young comic. I got a picture of me as a young comic. There it is. Look at that. Pathetic, isn't it pathetic? And I can remember that one of the first jokes I ever did, which was, do you like my digs? Yeah, £3.10 a week, all in, eat out and sleep next door. I tell you what, he died a bigger death in those days. And then that's an audition. I was in an audition in those days. They had theatres all over the place like this. And I was on a bill, first bill, with a man and a woman team. And they were a singing team. Does anybody remember Anne Ziegler and Webster Booth? You know, well, these were the working man's Anne Ziegler and Webster Booth. Because it's only a #3 tour. And I was standing there watching on Monday night, and they had to make acts then. Instead of just going on and singing, they made it. And their act was the very cheap cloth of a garden, because all theatres have a garden cloth. And then they had 2 roses, practical roses, sticking out. And the music started, and she wandered on. Big hat, basket. And she plucks a rose and puts it in the basket like that. And she plucks another one, and he shuffles on like a tramp. Like that. She turned around to him and she went, "Oh, but you haven't always been a tramp." He said, "No, once I built a railroad." So I went into repertory. And we have a repertory picture. This is me. Oh, it's pathetic, isn't it? Do anybody remember Ronald Colman? That bit never grew. It's that bit there, and I used to put a little burnt match on it, but don't tell anybody. And that repertory, and I had a marvellous time. I learned a lot, and I was stage manager as well as being one of the actors. And who knows the play Two Mrs. Carols? Anybody? No, you see, it's before your time. There was me and Beerbohm Tree. and we were doing the Two Mrs. Carols, and I was the stage manager. Now, in those days, the stage thing like that, and they had it's a country house in Spain, in France. There's a mistral blowing. A mistral lets me, stage manager, go, and it's thunder and lightning. I have a thunder sheet up there, and the lights are this. Bang, bang, bang. And on stage they go, "Oh, this damn wind." And I'm going... And they said, "Oh, shutters." And I've got the first aid box for the shutter, like, boom, boom, boom. "Oh, can't you fix those shutters, man?" And I'm also playing the maid. Now, I wasn't the maid. Instead of calling me Marie, I was called Alphonse. So I had a white jacket on. It was just one of those things. But I'm also in it. And I'm in it. And, you know, I'm doing all this like that. And then what I have to do is that the car arrives. So in those days, they had the 78 with all the different effects on it. Nowadays, you press a button and it's there, but not those days. So I go, bang, bang, oh, those shadows, boom, boom, boom. put it on the wrong place. Instead of a car arriving, went... Big Jesse on stage, he didn't hear it, and he just said, oh, that'll be them now. And not only that, I had the thing on the boom, 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 and then I went dong, 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 and I went on and answered it. And nobody knew that every time I answered the door, it all went quiet. I learned after that you seem to make a mark on the record. It could have been worse. I could have put the band of the Grenadier Guards on. And he would have looked at Jess and said, this'll be them now. I went into another rep then, and my money went up to £9 because they were talking about me. And we did the shop at Sly Corner. How many know the shop at Sly Corner? Yeah. Well, now I played the young lieutenant, the lead. If you can remember that picture, you'll see why. I played the lead. There was one part with the old man, and he was 72 years old. 72. And he sits behind the desk, and his line is, he's got this little thorn, and he says, do you know this thorn is curare, and it kills in 14 seconds. And I have to sort of step forward like that, which I took half a page. Didn't get a round of applause, so I cut it out, but I took half a page. And he presses it, and he went, so my next line is, he's dead. Then there's a curtain. That's the end of the act, you see. So so I went like that, and he went, and he went, and I got, and he says to me then, he gets on the floor, and I look at the audience and he said, not yet. Well, I mean, it kills in 14 seconds. I mean, it's 3 minutes of that. And in the end, I just looked at the audience and I said, he's dead. And of course they laughed. He was furious. He said, I'll show you. 72 years old. So the following night, he played. Now, can you imagine a 72-year-old man playing this young lieutenant in love with his girl, and me has to play the old man? Well, there's no way I could do it. I mean, it was like Mr. Crant. And I said to him, I got to this part, I said, did you see this song? It's curare, and it kills in 14 seconds. And I went, and he said, get on with it, Lenny. So I fell down completely. I just had one rigor mortis, and that was it. I did it in 9 seconds. And it was 3 minutes after he'd examined me and everything before he said, he's dead. And he said, that's how to do it, complete silence. Well, of course it was complete silence. They're all in the bar then. And, one of the first jobs, this is in the Bill Fraser, Dennis Norden era. I was with a 4-part harmony team. It's true, and we called ourselves the Four Aces. And it's a cheek. It's a cheek, because there was a great group going around called the Four Aces. And this is the number he sang. I love coffee, I love tea. I love the jive, and it loves me. Coffee. It is! Curly, it is! I haven't seen you since Hamburg. Do you remember that?
I do.
Why, Jingle, you were going to open a chemist shop in the Reeperbahn.
Yeah?
Well, come here. Oh, now, this is amazing. Go on, up. I love coffee, I love tea. I love the jive, and it loves me. Jim Jill!
Sapper Sykes.
That's right. I Jingle, the water car corporal.
Was it?
That's right. And look out, the CO. Would you... Now, if you wrote this, you wouldn't believe it. These lads... Honestly. You have changed. Because when I knew them, they were black, weren't you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Done well.
How are you,
So,
sir?
I'm fine, thank you.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, Lieutenant Jampton. Right, now, this is what we're going to do. No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I want to hear this myself. Okay. That's all right. I want to see where his fingers go. I love coffee, I love tea. I love the jive and it loves me. Coffee and tea and the jabber and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Boy. I love Java, sweet and hot. Whoops, Mr. Moto, I'm a coffee pot. Shoot me the pot now, pour me a shot. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Oh, slip me a slug from the wonderful mug. I got a rug that's snug in a jug. A slice of onion and a raw one. Draw one. Waiter, waiter, percolator. I love coffee, I love tea. I love the Java jive and it loves me. Coffee and tea and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Ooh.
Boston beans,
Soybeans,
green beans,
cabbage and greens. I'm not keen on butter beans unless it is a cheery, cheery bean. Boy. I love coffee, I love tea. I love the Java jive and it loves me. Coffee and tea and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Coffee and tea and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Boy. Hey! Keep on. Keep on. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Then, after that, we decided to tour. So we took the road, and he and those, and excuse me, there's yours. Right. No, you had a pie.
I had a pie.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. A radio came, Educating Arts, you remember that? And Frank, oh yeah, I remember it too, lovely stuff. Working for a dummy. And then it was television, and the old days, and a lot of people don't know, but in the old days, there were 9-inch sets. That's all they had. Anybody have a 9-inch set? That big. And in front of it, they had that sort of thick pebble glass. You know, it was a bit like Michael Foot's head on the sideboard. My aunt Mary, she had the first set in Preston. She lived just outside Preston. She had the first one, and there was only two in that place, and the dealer had the other one. She had this one. And I travelled up from London just to look at it. And we're sitting in, and in those days, you didn't sit back like this and watch it. You all watched it like that. And there's 20 of us in this little room, and we're watching it, and the picture came from Birmingham, the signal, and it kept fading. See, and every time it faded, everybody goes like that. And then go back again. And then... it's like a Wakefield Trinity scrum. And what they did, they give you instructions on how to view. They said, don't look at it all the time, because it'll ruin your eyes. So they said, every so often, keep looking at an object in a corner of the room. It's true. So you had to sit there watching like that, and every so often you went... you know, so you wouldn't go blind, you know. And a lot of snobs in those days, there was a lot of snobs who used to walk through the streets, walking the street going... so that people would think they had a set. And, you know, all the blinds were drawn. You didn't know whether somebody was dead or whether they had a set. But good morning. Anyway, one of the early television shows I did was in a show with Harry Seacombe, and he wasn't a night then, he wasn't even a full morning. In those days... Oh, I slipped that one in. In those days, they were live, and if you made a mistake, you didn't. And I'm doing a little thing here, which we made up, actually, on the day. And I wonder if you recognize the other fellow that we do this little act. Here it is. A snap of the fingers. There it is.
I took part in the opera. I'm a gypsy. A gypsy am I. A Saturday dance, follow me. A traveling by. I follow the road. Hotels. Through the hills.
Yeah, that was Spike Milligan, and we've been together ever since. But most of my my career, as you know, has been taken up with doing the Sykes television shows. And I'd like to do this small section as a tribute to Hattie Jakes and Richard Wattis and the people that I've spent a third of my life, when you think that over 20 years. And also, we were responsible for the first frontal nudity on television. I'm sorry to have to say it, and unfortunately it was in black and white, but here's the first frontal nudity on television.
They left Scapa Flow at dawn. Open with the boom defenses. Let go forward, let go aft. Meanwhile, in the fjord, Achtung! Écoutez die Ja, ist gut. Bam, ja, ist weit. Oh! Hooray! Hooray! Man overboard, leave him.
Most of my television things are based on fact and actual happenings. I put in this show, we did a show with Raymond Huntley, you know, the actor Hello, and we did a show, and I was supposed to be the producer of that show. And in it, he's talking, he said, like, Arabella, I have to go to India, Arabella. And he looked, and he came and he said, Eric, dear boy, he said, do we need this table? So I nipped up on stage and I said, pardon? He said, do we need that table? I said, no, I'll ask the stage manager. I said, do we need that table? And the stage manager come on, he said, well, what table? And I said, at that table there, he said, just a minute. He said, I'll answer props. He said, props? And the prop come in and said, what's the problem? He said, does he need that table? He said, well, it's on the prop list. So he turned to me and he said, it's on the prop list. I said, well, it's on the prop list. So he said, all right, we'll leave it there. I said, thank you very much. He said, thank you. And I, okay, let's carry on. And he said, just a moment. He said, what's all this business? I said, well, you started it. He said, I was merely shielding my eyes from the glare of the footlights. I said, oh, I thought you were a mason. All happened. Also, based on truth, Hattie, Jakes and I used to do quite a few police concerts. And when you do them, they give you, like at the end, like a truncheon with a sign or something like that. And what they call handcuffs, which are inscribed. They're not regulation, they're nice things, and thank you from F Division or whatever it is. Well, she took them home, and one of her sons at that time was 6 years old, playing around with them, and he's caught in these handcuffs. Now, they don't have keys for these handcuffs. And Hat has to go to a rehearsal, so she phoned up a pal of hers, an actor, and she said, look, he's stuck like this, would you take him to the police station and get him off? She said, righto. And he's got this 6-year-old boy, handcuffed. And this fellow's walking with, come on, lad. And the crowd are all saying, come on, leave him alone, let him go. And that's an actual happening, and I wrote a show which incorporated Hat and I getting caught in these handcuffs. Here's a little scene where we're handcuffed together.
Look, Hattie, I'll tell you what we'll do. As soon as we've eaten, I'll take you down to the police station, okay?
All right, then.
Right, then. Aha. Now, that's a snag. There's a snag here. Just a minute. Sit here. Right? Oh.
Eric, if you sat at that end of the table, I could eat my dinner.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're not finished. We'll go with that. It's just as roll as long, isn't it? Just a minute. Get that plate. Get that plate. Get that plate. Put it there. There we are. Okay?
Yeah, getting nice. One salt.
I don't want to be done. Can we get noise? All right, we'll have some bread. Are you quite all right now? Honestly? I mustn't grumble, I did get a bit. Now then, come on, let's get some, because I'm...
What? I can't. If you're going to...
I'll tell you what we'll do. Now, let's pretend we're one person, right? Just got one pair of hands. Go on. Right, come on out. There we are. Good. Is it okay? Right, now, don't forget the dinner. Now, don't put it in there. Take a bit of bacon. That's it. There's the mushroom. Get the mushroom. That's the one.
Actually, I'm not really hungry.
I'm enjoying this myself, I don't know about you. And it's cold outside, so you might as well be here. And Hat has helped a lot of people to get on. We've had a lot of celebrities in the show, and we had one, a young golfer, came to us, and Hat, who'd never had a lesson, well, she didn't know anything at all about golf. I took her out to a golf course once, and she saw all the flags on the greens, and she thought it was Empire Day. But in one of the shows, we had a man, a young fella, Tony Jacklin, giving an exhibition. This is also Richard Wattis.
Stand by, caddies! Mr. Jacklin is about to drive! Look, don't push so far forward. Do please stand back. I'll see that you see everything. Mr. Jacklin is all teed up, as you can see. He's now addressing the ball. Just take one look at his feet. Look, it's fabulous. Look at that left foot. Look where that right foot is. He's now at the address. No. Something's disturbed him. He's coming over to say something to me. He's just said...
But about Hat, what she was, we've been over the world, Hat and I. We did a show together, and Hong Kong and all over the world. And everywhere we went, we did a lot of deep-sea fishing. And Hat was always the best. She always caught the biggest fish and a great sailor. So once we were doing a season in Torquay, we took a boat out every Friday and went fishing, because we only had one house on Friday, and went fishing. So whilst we were there, we made a film, a fishing film, and I'd just like to see what a lovely lady Hat is.
It's coming, Eric, it's coming. I think it's a sea urchin.
Too big for a sea urchin, isn't it? You know what I think it is?
No.
I think it's an octopus.
We've got an octopus.
Captain,
We've got
Captain.
an octopus down there. Look, an octopus.
Let me have a look. Great jumping jellyfish. It's a mine. Don't let it go, whatever you do. Keep it away from the side of the ship. Don't let it touch the side.
Okay. Now, don't worry, I know about these things.
Oh, yes, you know about them. You thought it was an octopus with short arms.
It's been lying here since the war.
Oh, well, it's all right, Eric. It could be one of ours.
It doesn't matter whether it's one of ours or whether it's a German mine, does it? Bang is the same in any language. Fertig, arrivederci, ciao. I'm coming, Mother. What I meant to say was, being there so long, it's probably a dud. See what the captain thinks.
I don't think the captain thinks it is a dud, Eric.
Eh?
No. He says he's going to get help.
We better be quick, because I can't hold it much longer.
Oh, well, just let it go, Eric. You don't want it.
If I let it go and it hits bottom, it could blow this boat to smithereens.
That's not our fault, is it?
Now, another one. See, a lot of people have been on our shows. Well, as I said, we've done it for 20 years. And the most brilliant, a genius in the world, the late Peter Sellers, who at the time was the highest paid man. And I phoned him up. I said, oh, will you do one of my TV shows? He said, sure. Now, and we're going to show Peter Sellers doing this, one of our shows.
You've got no more worries, because once Tommy Grando sees you in that, he'll be out like a shot.
If he isn't, I will be.
He's in the kitchen.
We are in love with you. My heart and home.
Mr. Grando, this is my sister-in-law, Harriet.
Hey?
And who is this gentleman?
Grando. Tommy Grando. You little Harriet, are you?
Little Harriet.
Let's have a look at you. Yeah, you're lovely, aren't you?
Hey?
You're just the sort of bird I've been looking for. You're sort of different, ain't you?
Yeah, I'm different, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna marry you, because I never breaks a promise, you see.
It's all right.
Oh, no, well, I don't think Eric... Well, Eric's got to give his consent, you see, because he's her guardian.
Yeah, you're no twiggy, are you?
Get off with your short-sighted twit.
If it hadn't been for Britt Eklund, we might have run away together. Anyway, then ladies and gentlemen, that's about, that's some of the resume of my life. I hope I paid the tribute. I can't say enough about Richard Wattis and all the people. And thank you for letting me come along and let my hair down. And would you like a song before we go? Another one? Okay then. Come on in. Right then, in F.
Is that the key you like?
Every star above knows the one I love. Sweet Sue, sweet Sue. And that moon on high knows the reason why. Sweet Sue, just you. No one else, it seems, ever shares my dreams. And without you, dear, I don't know what I'd do. In this heart of mine, you live all the time. Sweet Sue, just you.
Sweet Sue, sweet Sue. Sweet Sue, just you. No one else, it seems, ever shares my dream. And without you, dear, I don't know what I'd do. Honey lime, honey charm, just you, sweet Sue.
Every star above knows the one I love. Sweet Sue, sweet Sue. And the moon on high knows the reason why. Sweet Sue, just you. No one else, it seems, ever shares my dreams. And without you, dear, I don't know what I'd do. In this heart of mine, you live all the time. Sweet Sue,
Swing low, sweet chariot, sweet Sue.
Leading artists, writers and thinkers discuss the ideas shaping our lives and the links between past and present. Search the Arts and Ideas podcast section of BBC Sounds.